Good to meet you again with another episode of Polymath Edu Talk. Today also we have Dr. Dimitri Jayagoda joining us from UAE, Dubai, and he's going to talk on strategic decision making, especially strategic decision making under uncertainty. The world is always uncertain, right? However much we have developed so many things, but even with technology, whatever we have developed, there is a great deal of uncertainty. So in this uncertain world, how we are going to make strategic decisions, that's what we are going to focus today. And I hope those who join us, right, if you are a manager, if you are a decision maker, this session is going to be very helpful to you. So, Dr. Dimitri, what is this decision making in the times of uncertainty?
Thank you, Dr. Darshana. Thank you for having me again. Dr. Darshana, to begin our discussion about decision making, before we go into the discussion of decision making, I would like to take our attention. And we managers, leaders, we can be political leaders, corporate managers, business entrepreneurs, we are dealing with the external environment. So, basics of external environment, and we are looking at step factors: social, legal, economical, political, technological, or pestil, or different terms are given. So this is external environment. Or in macroeconomics, we talk about environment in bigger scale, so which is not within the control of the organization. So we are dealing with politics, which we cannot control. We are dealing with external economics. We deal with environment. We deal with legal aspects not within the control of our small business scale or micro level. We cannot control it. So I would say the environment that is very difficult for us to change overnight or change within a quick course of time. So we always have to deal with that environment. So we, the business leaders, or we, the managers, we, the politicians, we, the lecturers or educators, we have to deal with this environment. So this is very much changing, and it's a challenge to make strategic decisions in a rapidly changing environment. I don't think that environment is changing that fast today. It was changing even in the years back, but it was not updating that much, as we were not much connected via online or connected via social media to a great extent. So therefore we didn't know much about those changes. Right now, anything that happens within few seconds or few minutes, we will get to know because of this connectivity that we are enjoying these days. So external environment we cannot change, but that doesn't mean we cannot make strategic decisions and move forward. So we have to deal with it. We have to make our strategic decisions in a way, even though the environment changes, whether it is constant doesn't matter. We have to make our decisions. That is my stand on rapidly changing environment and making decisions.
Okay, so that's a good beginning. According to your point of view, what are the requirements, or what are the considerations we have to consider so many things. Now you came up with several ideas. So what are the basic things we need to consider as decision makers, whether it is politics, whether it is business, whether it is running a national organization or a regional organization, whatever, right? There can be certain basic considerations for decision makers, right, to practice before they make strategic decisions. What are they?
Okay, so one thing is that any organization, it can be a nation, it can be a small scale business, it can be a bigger scale business, it can be a multinational company. Our decisions should not be constant all the time, but it can be varied, but according to the situation, but we cannot deviate from our end goals. We always have objectives. It can be individual, it can be at organizational level, government level, regional level. We have objectives. End of the day, whatever the decisions we make has to be adhered with our objectives. So we may have objectives such as we always believe in SMART objectives: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound objectives. So any of our decisions should be aligned with achieving those objectives. It is clear that we know we have globally heated political situation. Imagine you are doing international trade or international business, or you are doing buying and selling, or you are bringing some materials from abroad and making some finished goods and sending them to an international market. How we are going to take your decisions, because we know globally the political situation is pretty much heated and international trade is not taking place as it was. So then how to make firm decisions? It's not that easy. As I said, you and I, we cannot control the external environment or so-called threat factors, which is outside of our organization. But therefore, what we have to do is we have to always take action accordingly and try to avoid as much as we can. Avoidance is a good strategy, I believe. So it doesn't mean not taking care or not taking them into consideration. We consider them and we are avoiding them, or either we uh, reject them, or sometimes we have to counterattack. So imagine if our organization is doing international trade and now we are bringing things from abroad, and fuel is a need, and then a lot of import and export takes place in our business, then we have to adhere to this global heated political situation, whether we like it or not. But having said that, there's no stop for us. So when the issue comes, we have to take ways and which. So imagine in 9/11, during 9/11, entire international transport has changed uh, in the bomb attack, several attacks, several war times. The airplane transportation has totally changed, and we didn't stop that. We found ways. And during this tense situation, even right now, what we're experiencing, hopefully it will come to an end soon. In this Arabic world, uh, airline industry has been heavily affected, and a lot of airlines had to be cancelled. And many, as we all know, Dubai uh, and the nearest countries have been international hubs. So many flights, if you are flying from Asia, Australia, or Southern America to the Europe, or to the Northern America, or to the Europe or some other parts of the world. So one of the hub that you have to take is either Qatar or either Dubai. So you have to stop over and go. And imagine the flights being cancelled. And this country, the country where I live in, that is United Arab Emirates, entire business, entire operations were based on international transactions, foreigners who are coming into this country, to an international tourism. And this is the international base, and everything had to come to an end. But having said that, they didn't stop. So you are finding alternatives. So this is a great example of our time, and how to be successful in business world, or how to be successful, how to avoid external issues. Try to avoid these political issues. And if you can find a solution, obviously and definitely you should. But things that are not within your control, you have to find ways to survive. So I believe that you have to find strategies for survival.
Difficult times always create strong people, and easy times create lazy people. I think that is the rule. Anyway, now we are in a world where there is a huge amount of data coming in, and with the development of communication technology, and we are inundated with data. So now, how come this inundation of data, right? Mass amounts of data help managers and decision makers to make strategic decisions. We have this concept called data driven decision making. What is your idea about that?
Yes, for example, big data management, and there are positions like The jobs are being created. Data managers, big data analysis. I mean, doing big data analysis because every small items. I don't want to mention the name of the supermarket, but even if you go and buy grocery items and the supermarket collects your information, saying that they are giving you what do you call a point system, which is not bad. You are getting some points and you can finally redeem those points, but end of the day they are collecting on what day, in which scale you are buying what items. So maybe in a salary day they don't want to give any like we all know the salary days are pretty much common, and you don't need to give any promotions because anyway you have money cash in hand. So then you will spend on those days. But 10 days, 15 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, the salary day, you are becoming little broke. Okay, no matter how good you are with your financial planning. Those are the days that you need to give financial promo or like marketing promotions. Buy one, get one free, or prices are 10% off, 20% off, that we are seeing very commonly in most of the supermarkets wherever we go. Not only Sri Lanka, any parts of the world, a lot of promotions are coming up, and especially during weekends or especially during on special holidays. Internationally, we have seen that. So that is coming from big data analysis. So smart people behind the scene, they're analyzing this big data. That's one good thing that we see. But the second problem comes with your privacy. Like, let's say I go to a good restaurant. In about 10 minutes, I'm getting a message saying that how was your experience at this place? If you have kept your map on, and if you have kept your internet or data connected, then they know that you went to this place. Someone is analyzing, I mean, not someone, it's the algorithm. Someone is analyzing from somewhere and asking how is your experience at this particular restaurant, how was your experience at this particular tourism destination. And imagine, even I think your voice is being recorded now. Let's say we talk about some boutique hotels in down south area. So then in about few minutes, you will get a lot of boutique hotels promotions to your Facebook, to your LinkedIn, your social media platforms, where you feel like the promotions are there. It's time for you to go and grab that promotion. So even your voice is detected, I guess. So yes, question comes with your privacy and the big data that they gather. They means uh, organizations or corporates that is stored somewhere. Then question comes, where is my privacy? If that data is protected and used for a particular reason, and if your privacy is not being disclosed, especially with the banks, we know the banking frauds that are taking place in our country as well as in the foreign markets, and it's highly sensitive and protective areas. For example, I'll give you a very simple example that I'm experiencing. I'm using online banking apps here in the UAE. I will not mention the name of the bank, but while you are on a call, you cannot access the banking app from the same phone because they say a fraud, maybe a fraud might be asking you to transfer some money. So while you're on a call, you cannot access the banking app. So they are that much protective, but still people are frauding things. People are stolen some money from you because we are having very small accounts. But imagine the government accounts, imagine the high-end business people, and imagine if you have bank account full of several digits of savings or money or cash coming in and going out. It's not easy to control, and a lot of banking frauds that took place in Sri Lanka as well for the privacy. Even though it can be government banks, it can be private sector banks. So your privacy needs to be protected. There's no argument. I should not know how much is left in your bank, and you should not know how much is left in my bank. So it's that simple. As going back to earlier roots, we always say it's not nice to ask the age of a woman and the salary of a man. So that means your privacy should be protected. So if that is the case in social sciences, we say that, but when it comes to economics and when it comes to the era of globalization, we should not question that. And our privacy should be protected. Our data should be protected full time.
Yeah, this you remind me of a yarn I have heard of. One day, the wife sensed that her husband has become very silent and nervous. Then she asks the question, "Darling, why are you silent, so silent? Right? And you don't speak to me, and even when you want to speak, it's like you are murmuring." Then he says, "No, actually, I think there is somebody listening to us." Then the wife says, "How come that there is somebody listening to us, right? It's you and me in this room. There is nobody." Then Siri laughed and Alexa laughed, right? So there is somebody listening to us always, and I think this is a good message for those who join us. And at the same time, I think with this all these development, we have to in decision making, we have to uh, think of risk management as well. So what do you think of risk management? Because there is always a risk.
Yes, for anything there is a risk. So in economics, we always talk about more than the risk, the opportunities, foregone opportunities. You take one decision, mean you are losing several. So in that case, we as business managers, or we as business leaders, we as politicians, we as uh, entrepreneurs, we have to take the best decision that gives the least number of harm to our achieving our goals. So risk management, sometimes you can attack the risk, you can take the risk, and you can always challenge the risk. One other way is that you can go around the risk or to avoid the risk or reduce the risk, so you can have a lot of precautions. I believe in this kind of situation in generally, okay, this is my personal idea. In generally, in this kind of globally heated situation and internationally, the globalization is bit challenge. We believe that globalization, few things that are needed. One is internet access, one is free trade, uh, free transport, free of uh, access to transportation. So these things have been challenged right now. Therefore, we have to think of ourselves to avoid risk or to work with the risk or to try to minimize taking the risk. So, more than going and attacking to the risk, better we avoid the risk as much as possible. So, we have to go back into the good old day roots and try to protect ourselves and do our best in the business or whatever the activities that we do, especially in a globally heated situation. Right now, every part is globally pretty much heated, and people are trying to protect their jobs than, adding something new and trying to be challenging. So we are in little bit of the safe mode right now, more than the attacking mode. I believe better we go for the safe mode until things get settled, and then we can go to the attack mode or the new things coming up. Quickly, let me give few examples. And we fought with the 9/11 situation where the international transportation was challenged, and then we fought through the crisis situation, that is COVID, which was a natural disaster, created disaster that you and I still we don't know. COVID situation we managed somehow. A lot of things have changed. A lot of new business models came up, such as online delivery, cash on delivery. There was in little scale, but online delivery was a big hit during the COVID time. And this interview that we are having right now, we may not have this if COVID didn't happen that way. And it took me several months to get used to this online teaching, but now it's nothing. Even something simple happens, even if we hear a sound or something, we go for online classes now. So we will not ask students to gather. So things, when a problem comes, we have to always find solutions, I believe, or else We don't need to wait until the problem comes to find solutions. Before it comes, we can make few predictions and we can prepare for that. I think that's the best way to avoid the risk.
Okay, so now you came up with a nice point that is during crisis, how to respond. So what I understand is crisis leadership is the most important and the most effective type of leadership. So during a crisis, now we can remember during the few years we experienced COVID-19, how leaders showed their talents. So, what do you have to tell us about this crisis leadership?
Crisis leadership is that we as leaders, I don't think that we will not have to face for crisis. We face natural disasters, we face man-made disasters, also called the political crisis situations, and sometimes economical crisis situation, environmental crisis situation, which we have recently experienced in Sri Lanka. Things that is not beyond our, things that we cannot control, things are beyond our control. These disasters take place, and as a manager for these crisis situations, first thing, basic stuff, you should not get panic, and always remember your objective, why you are here. And you are managing a team, not the robots, not yet. You are managing a team of people, so then you have to work with their emotions. And end of the day, we all want food on our table. So then if managers remember this basic simple concept of we all work for a compensation, we all work for to take out something out of the work that we do. It can be to market ourselves, it can be to gain financial something, it can be to upgrade ourselves. So then, if we remember the basics that we work for, so then we can always be good leaders who have opened their eyes for crisis. Unfortunately, it's not that easy for us to predict, because whatever that happens are not that has been happened before. Like for example, flooding and those stuff, yes, we have experienced years ago. That is there for centuries and decades, centuries, and years and years long that is being happening. But most of the issues that we face recently are totally new for us, and we cannot predict. For example, I cannot predict what will be the crisis that will take place in 2027 next year. We don't need to wait until that. We are still on the halfway of this year. That means for the next half year, what will happen? It's not within our thinking capacity to predict. So, but whatever happens, what we can do is as leaders not to get panic. We have to remember that we are working with people, and we have to protect environment as well. So we can't challenge environment while protecting all these ideas, and while working for our own vision, mission, and objectives, and also for the organization or the country or the nation that you are working for. If you keep that in your mind, and then you can be a good leader, especially in a situation of crisis.
So, what you tell me is that crisis is the only thing that we can predict. It's really, oh, uncertainty. Uncertainty is the only thing we can predict. So, keep calm under fire, keep cool under fire. That is the rule for life, to be resilient. And that reminds me of the brave pilot who made a crash landing on Hudson River once. Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Dimitri, for joining us and for your insightful ideas. And hope to see you again with another episode of Polymath Edu Talk. Until such times, have a good time. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Darshana, for having me on this discussion, and looking forward for many more to come. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.